Western region, this is Premier 100.5 FM in Takrady Beach, 105.5 FM also in Takrady Bono region, Greener FM 95.9 in Sunyani Ashanti region, Orange 107.9 in Kumasi. In the Volta region, this is Global 105.1 FM in Ho Adan, 107.7 FM in Adakluwaya. In the Northern region, you can hear us on Diamond 93.7 FM in Tamale, Westlink 88.1 FM in Laura in the Upper West region, Source 100.1 FM in Boku in the Upper East region, and Scap 101.3 FM in Nampanduri in the Northeast region. All around the world, we are live on citynewsroom.com and also on Facebook at Citi 97.3 FM.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Thank you for deciding to spend your 60 minutes with us here on Citi Prime News, which updates you with all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers. This afternoon, allow us to begin from the yet-to-be-aired expose by investigative journalist Anas Arimia Anas, because President Akufo-Addo has terminated the appointment of the Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Mr. Charles Edubuahin, with immediate effect. Well, a statement from the Director of Communications at the Jubilee House, Eugene Ahin, indicated that the President took the decision after being made aware of the allegations leveled against the minister in the expose dubbed Galamsey Economy. I've been joined in studio by our presidential correspondent, Sami Rafi, to get more understanding on this particular development. First, tell us, what did the statement from the presidency say?
It says the President Akufo-Addo terminates appointment of Charles Edubuahin and is dated the 14th of November 2022. It says the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has terminated the appointment of Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Mr. Charles Edubuahin, with immediate effect. After being made aware of the allegations leveled against the minister in the expose Galamsey Economy, the President spoke to Mr. Edubuahin, after which he took the decision to terminate his appointment and also refer the matter to the Special Prosecutor for further investigations. The President thanked Mr. Edubuahin for his strong service to his government since his appointment in 2017 and wished him well in his future endeavors. Signed, Eugene Ahin, Director of Communications at the Jubilee House.
So one has to do with allegations as captured in the expose, and the matter we are made to understand has been sent to the Office of the Special Prosecutor for further investigations. But really, we know that Mr. Charles Edubuahin is already under fire because some members of Parliament want him out. But this time around in the expose, what did he do?
In this time, the reports, the allegations is or are that he met some investors in the UAE, and there was an allegation that the people wanted to establish a bank in Ghana. And so he was going to be the spearhead for this particular establishment of the bank. And he made mention that he was going to see the vice president, and an amount of $200,000 will be paid to the vice president as appearance fee, in quotes, for this particular business deal to be established here in Ghana. He went further to say that apart from the vice president, there are other government officials who needs to be seen in order to ensure that this particular deal manifests in the country. The vice president also issued a statement with regards to this particular allegation made by Mr. Charles Edubuahin. And it says, my attention has been drawn to a video by Anas Arimia Anas, as posted on his social media handle, showing the Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Mr. Charles Edubuahin, apparently using my name to peddle influence and collect money from supposed investors. I would like to state that if what the minister is alleged to have said is accurately captured in the video, then his position as a Minister of State is untenable. He should be dismissed summarily and immediately. I'm not aware of any such meeting held by the Minister Edubuahin or a supposed appearance fee. My most cherished asset in life is my integrity, and I will not allow anyone to use my name to engage in corrupt activity. So this is a statement issued by the vice president himself on his Facebook wall, distancing himself for this particular allegation.
So this particular distancing came even before the president issued that.
No, moments after the president issued the letter for Mr. Edubuahin to be his appointment to be terminated. This particular statement came
and the vice president was also calling for his dismissal.
Yes, but apparently I understand the meeting was held this morning. The discussion was held this morning to his appointment being terminated. So all this action took place this morning.
But Mr. Charles Eduboahin has been responding. In fact, he has also said that he tendered in his resignation. What more do you?
Well, the information I gather is that he was sacked before he took his resignation in. So he was sacked before this particular resignation came in. So he also issued a statement, Charles Eduboahin. He says, it has come to my attention that a documentary to be aired by Tiger IPI and an article published in the Crusading Guy newspaper of today seeks to accuse me of broken deals for the Vice President of the Republic. This follows an attempt to entrap myself and other persons in 2018. Subsequently, I have not been involved in any act of which I am being accused. I do not, however, wish to be a distraction to government and the finance ministry at this crucial moment. Consequently, I have submitted my resignation to the President of the Republic. I will, however, look forward to full investigation, which I hope will reveal that I am not or I have not committed any act. So this is a statement also came in from Charles.
So he's also denying any form of culpability in
and from his statement
that it's an entrapment.
Yes, because from 2018. So a lot of people are wondering this particular documentary from Anas, a recent one or something that has been kept for a long while and is now doing the expose.
All right, thank you so much, Samir Afe. He is our presidential correspondent here at Citi FM and Citi TV. So the news, just as you may well know, is that President Akufo-Addo has terminated the appointment of the Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Mr. Charles Eduboahin, with immediate effect. A statement from the Director of Communications at the Jubilee House, Eugene Ahin, indicated that the President took the decision after being made aware of the allegations leveled against the Minister in the expose dubbed Galamsey Economy. Well, the Vice President, who was mentioned in this particular allegation, has distanced himself from it, and also Mr. Charles Eduboahin himself has said that he is also not involved. But the matter, the President's statement indicates that it has been referred to the Office of the Special Prosecutor for further investigation. We'll be following for you this particular story and update you in our subsequent bulletin as and when the development unfolds. But away from that, let's do sports now, because the moment we've all been waiting for is finally upon us. The Black Stars head coach, Otto Addo, has named his 26-man squad for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. We have in studio City Sports, Evans Ofochu Manso in studio. You are already smiling. Because this is the moment all people who follow sports in the country have been waiting for. In fact, the coach has named the 26-man squad for our World Cup participation in Qatar this month. We are some 6 days away from the event, right?
Exactly.
So the 26-man squad, let's know who made it to the list.
Well, so key players like Thomas Partey of Arsenal, Mohamed Kudus of Ajax, Captain Andre Ayew, and his younger brother, Jordan Ayew of Crystal Palace. They are the big names in the Black Stars 26-man squad. But it's a team that doesn't have the first choice goalkeeper, Joseph Woolacott. He was injured during warm-up in Charlton Athletics 3-3 draw with Burton Albion in the League One. So we understand he was quite disappointed to miss out on the World Cup. His number 2, Richard Ofori, also misses out due to injury as well. And so Kotoko have their goalkeeper, Ibrahim Danlad, making what will be a surprise inclusion into the Black Stars team. Also, Real Mallorca's midfielder, that's Baba Idrisu, was omitted in the list due to an injury he picked. Monitoring his situation, he was an unused substitute in Real Mallorca's 6-0 win over Otol in the Copa del Rey, but not enough for him to make the Black Stars list there. But so 2 local players are in the team, as I said, Danlad Ibrahim and House of Oaks, Daniel Ifri Bani gets to be part of the Black Stars squad. So in total, there's 26 players, 3 goalkeepers. And speaking of the goalkeepers, today with the injuries to Ofori and Woolacott, it means that Manaf Nuruddin, Danlad Ibrahim of Kotoko, and Lawrence Atizigi will be our 3 goalkeepers at the World Cup there. For the defenders, we have Dennis Odoi and also Tariq Lamptey as the right backs there, with Ali Duseidu, Daniel Amate, Joseph Aidu, Alexander Juku, and Mohamed Salisu as the central defenders there, with Abdul Babaraman and Gideon Mensah as the left back for the Black Stars. The midfielders, there's Andre Ayew, captain of the team, Thomas Partey, Elisha Owusu, Salis Abdul Samed, making a debut into the Black Stars list there. Mohamed Kudus is there alongside Kofi Tre, Daniel of Freiberg. For the strikers, Daniel Efriebanie, Kamal Soa, Mishahaku Fatau, Osman Bukari, Iñaki Williams of Athletic Bilbao. There's Antoine Semenyo, Jordan Ayew, and Kamaldeen Sulemana. So these are the 26 Warriors for the Black Stars at the World Cup. And our first game will be against Portugal on November 24.
But I'm sure the coach has been speaking highly. What informed him to make this particular selection?
Exactly. He spoke about the fact that he had his game plan and he knows this kind of players he will need to fit in what exactly he wants at the World Cup. But he was made to address one key issue. That's the omission of some interesting players. There's Jeffrey Schlupp of Crystal Palace. He's playing week in, week out in the English Premier League. Joseph Pentel also is having a good time in the Belgian League, but they were omitted. So Otuado was asked why the omission of these two players, but he was like, he doesn't want to get into players that are not in his squad at the moment. He wants to focus on those that have been called up for the Black Stars. Also omitted is Mubarak Wakaso, a player who has been was at the last World Cup in 2014, the last World Cup in 2010 in South Africa. And also Felix Afena-Gyan, he was our striker during the playoff against Nigeria. So many Ghanaians expected him to at least get a slot, but there'll be no Felix Afena-Gyan in the Black Stars squad as well. But for Otuado, he doesn't want to get into what led to this player being omitted or not. He wants to focus on the positives going into the World Cup.
But with these omissions, is it really a shock? Because I know a lot of people were looking forward to some of these names.
Exactly.
And they didn't make it.
It's a shock. It's a shock because for Joseph Pentel, he's having quite a good time in Belgium. He scored 6 goals in 14 league appearances. For Jeffrey Schlupp, he's playing week in, week out in the best league in the world, the English Premier League. So many Ghanaians were expected that if you talk about consistency and people who are doing well at club level, then these two players should have been part of the Black Stars team. For a player like Afena-Gyan, since he moved to Cremonense, he's had quite a dilly-dally or topsy-turvy appearances for the Italian side. But for Schlupp and Pentel, many Ghanaians feel that they deserve at least a slot in the Black Stars team. But they are not there. And for JV President Keto Krakow, he's also urging Ghanaians that from henceforth, we should try and be positive around the team, cut as much negativity that we have now. And he believes that these are the warriors that can propel us to the top at the World Cup.
So what does the selection of these warriors mean for us as a country, Black Stars, ahead of our participation in Qatar? Really a team formidable enough?
Well, we are going into the World Cup as the lowest ranked team. So of all the 32 teams, we are the lowest ranked. On paper, it doesn't look good for us as well. In terms of our coach as well, Otuado, tactically, we know he's not really... he can be compared to the opponent that we have, the Portuguese coach, the South Korean coach, and also the Uruguayan coach. But looking at what we have on paper, goalkeeping, we have 3 keepers that are not really tried and tested. Our first choice, second choice are not there now. Nuruddin Manaf has played just once for the Black Stars in the game against Chile. He was superb. He was good on penalties, but this is his first time at the Black Stars in terms of the World Cup. Dalal Ibrahim has gone through the ranks from the under-17, under-20, the Black Meteors, the Black Galaxies. For Kotoko, he's having a good time in the Ghana Premier League, but he's yet to make a debut for the Black Stars. Lawrence Atizigi is one goalkeeper that tries hard, but is unable to get clean sheet for the Black Stars. He's played twice under Otuado. That 4-1 defeat to Japan and also that 1-1 draw against the Central African Republic. So many Ghanaians don't have confidence in him in terms of keeping clean sheet.
All 3 are going to the World Cup for the very first time.
For the very first time. And they are not really regulars for the Black Stars in terms of what we know Joseph Wolako does week in, week out. For the right backs, Denis Odoi, Tariq Lamptey have made a strong claim. Remember, in our last friendly in September against Brazil and Nicaragua, they were tried and tested in that position as well. So the back four, Amate, Juku, Salisu have all been tried and tested for the Black Stars. So this, and then Gideon Mensah, Babaraman have also showed that, yes, when it comes to the Black Stars, they have much experience. So defensively, I think we are good on paper. But goalkeeping-wise, there are some question marks. Midfielders, I think once we have Thomas Partey and also Mohamed Kudus, Kofi Tre, all in the team, it's a solid midfield. But we'll miss the services of Baba Idrisu, who has been a regular defensive midfielder for the Black Stars. But with what Salis Abdul Samed brings on board also, I think it's we have quite a good backup for the injured Baba Idrisu. Attacking-wise, I think many Ghanaians would love to see some minutes for Ifriye Bani, Hasbrook fans especially, but as to whether Otuado will be charitable enough to grant him some playing time? That's also a question to be answered later. But once we have the likes of Iñaki Williams looking to lead the attack for the Black Stars, it should be a good one. Kamaldeen Sulemana went through a couple of injury situations, but he's still good to go. Fatai Sahaku has had a good time since he joined Sporting Lisbon in Portugal. And I think the likes of Usman Bukari and Antoine Semenyo have all been around the Black Stars for some time to gather some experience.
So Jordan Ayew is also in there.
Well, I know why many Ghanaians will have issues with Jordan Ayew. What I can tell you, see, he is a key player for the Black Stars. Many Ghanaians will disagree with me on this one in terms of his numbers. Yes, he may not be able to get much goals for the Black Stars, but look at most of our previous games. He's always in the starting 11. He's always in the Black Stars team. He has so much experience now. This will be his second World Cup. He was at the last one also in 2014. And so I think that for Jordan, the goals may not be coming, but his output. And I think maybe that's one of the key reasons why the coaches always feel him week in, week out.
By the ability to score goals, or that's not it.
I understand where many Ghanaians have their concerns from, but Jordan Ayew, many who have spoken to believe that he doesn't offer just the goals, but his work rate. His work rate. He's able to bring in his teammates and do well. But I think that it's one of those situations where it will be difficult to take him out. Absolutely. I don't think there will be a coach at the Black Stars level that will take out Jordan Ayew or his brother Andre Ayew
so
at this moment.
He comes across as a utility player.
Exactly. He can play on the right wing, left wing, and even the centre forward, or the supporting striker. And as such, he will always be in the Black Stars team, no matter what, whether the goals have dried up or not. Jordan Ayew is a key element of our current Black Stars squad.
Well, I see. So with this list, are we likely to know who will come out as the captain? Are you able to share that with, or it's early days yet?
With our captain situation, Andre Ayew obviously is the main captain. Thomas Partey is his backup or number 2. Now, our third captain was the goalkeeper, Richard Ofori. He's injured at the moment, so we are likely to have someone take the mantle, which potentially could be Jordan Ayew. Jordan Ayew looks to be our third captain if the likes of Andre and Thomas Partey are not on the pitch at the moment.
So our first game again is when?
Yes, so that's the 24th of November. We are facing Portugal. It's a repeat of the group stage game where we lost to the Portuguese team. Remember Germany
2006.
Yeah, 2014 in Brazil. We played the Germans in the group stage. We drew 2-2 with them. So we played against Portugal. Sorry, we lost to them. So it's a repeat of that game against Portugal, where Fatai Dawda will remember in that game. He made a save, and then he was quite excited. Later, he conceded to Cristiano Ronaldo. So we are facing Cristiano Ronaldo and his team once again. Then on the 27th, we are playing South Korea. December 2nd or December 2, we wrap up the group stage against Uruguay, a game that has been dubbed as a revenge mission for the Black Stars.
Well, thank you so much, Evans Ofuchuman. So it's with the City Sports team here at Citi Fm and Citi TV telling us about that list by the Black Stars head coach Otto Addo, the 26-man squad for Ghana for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Want to wish the Black Stars the very best as the tournament begins some 6 days away from today. But away from that, Eno has more stories.
The Ghana Real Estate Development Association is charging its members or any private developer who expresses interest in the defunct Saglemi housing project to trash out all legal issues surrounding the project. The association's advice follows government's intention to sell the 1,500 housing units to private developers due to its inability to expend more resources in fixing it for use. Speaking to City News, the Executive Secretary of Greater, Samuel Amegaibo, said the project has been entangled with legal issues, hence anyone desirous of investing in it must be clear on the terms with the government.
For the call or the minister's announcement, for me, is good for many other reasons. At least it has cleared the issue of why it is still sitting there without us making use of it. It has sort of clearly shown the intentions of government to at least do something with that project. And I think the approach is not bad. They've committed a lot of funds into it. And as he put it, they don't want to incur any other cost again, but want to sort of dispose it off through selling it to a private investor. I think it's a good call. at least it will bring us to a point where we can transform the project from what it is now into a usable project.
The Greater Executive Secretary further stated that calls for alternative housing materials like bricks are laudable, but insists that Ghanaians must change their preferences for the adoption of local inputs into buildings.
This rent issue is purely demand and supply. If there were adequate supply of homes, nobody would be interested in charging that because of the serious competition about the availability of homes for people to choose from. And so it's just because it's not available. The few that are available, the landlords are also taking advantage and setting very high standards and conditions for will-be tenants if this property is owned. Studies that have been done suggest that yes, if you build either compressed bricks and those clay products, you certainly will be reducing your cost at some percentage. But you know, the appetite of the Ghanaian also needs to change. Our orientation for foreign goods has crept into even building. And so it calls for concerted effort by all parties to agree to be using the materials and also people wanting to buy them. We seem to be talking too much and acting very little. That has been the problem. And so if we move away from talking too much and acting more, I'm sure we'll be able to augment and mitigate some of these problems and solve them as fast as possible.
Samuel Amegaibo is the Executive Secretary of the Ghana Real Estate Development Association.
This is still the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi Fm. My name is Larte here with Safo. Our top stories this hour: President Akufo-Addo sacks Minister of State at the Finance Ministry Charles Edubuain over allegations as captured in the yet-to-be-aired expose Galamsey Economy by investigative journalist Anas Arimiao Anas. Also, 26 months court for the Black Stars announced ahead of Ghana's participation at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Still to come, strike by teaching and non-teaching staff of colleges of education in the country over conditions of service takes off in full force.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Afiwe, Black Stars fans say attempt the
Yeah,
team selection. Na coaching Jumanin Swe. Hey, now Black Stars beat maybe B. Sakasan so. No negative talk. Positive talking kwa. Mama come Qatar 2022 way. Na Black Stars echi. DSTV the 64 matches ni na be bro with DSTV compact so. For 169 Ghana Cedis Beji decoder and the year. Ghana, it's our moment.
na Jordan, are you correct?
Hey, Masa. Yejai.
Fine, anyone can become the house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, anyone. Whether market woman, student, professional, even fisherman or cobbler. YouGoFlip, a real estate gaming platform that allows you to play and stand the chance of winning a house, cash, or other prizes, such as savings towards the house. Simple and easy to play. Visit www.yougoflip.com. Buy a ticket to enter the game. Wait for the end of the game to enjoy the win. Anyone can win.
Contact us on 0555222490.
YouGoFlip.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Play responsibly, not for persons below 18 years, and gaming can be addictive.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back and thank you for staying. In more news this hour, the High Court in Accra has dismissed a suit brought against the president of the Ghana Journalists Association, Albert Kwabena Dumfor, by Justice Lee Aduboy. The plaintiff in the suit alleged that prior to the GJA elections, Albert Kwabena Dumfor gave members of the association 500 cedis each at an event organized in the Western region. He thus prayed the court to declare the elections null and void. The court, however, ruled that all the reliefs being sought by the plaintiff, including restraining Albert Dumfor from holding himself as GJA president, is null and void, and thus dismissed the case.
The police have arrested 3 persons and are pursuing others for violent disturbances during the National Democratic Congress Ashanti Regional Executive election held in Kumasi on Sunday. The suspects and their accomplices, according to the police, were involved in different offences, including assault on a police officer, spraying pepper from a device onto some persons at the centre, and engaging in a fight resulting in injuries to one of the perpetrators. The suspects, Yahaya Shaibutia, Fatih Ibrahim and Hussein Yakubu alias Jalune, are currently in custody assisting with investigations while efforts are underway to get their accomplices arrested to face justice.
Now, a former flag bearer of the People's National Convention, PNC, David Apasara, has welcomed the Electoral Commission's decision not to deal with the party till its internal wranglings are resolved. The EC, on the request of the chairman of the PNC, suspended all dealings with the party till it resolves its issues or risk being suspended permanently. Speaking to City News, David Apasara says until the court rules on the issues, they agree with the EC's position not to deal with the PNC.
And she got this thing going. She went around talking. I understand she has prepared budgets that she is going to do reorganization of the party. She even sent out forms to constituencies and then regions. And so the chairman wrote to the Electoral Commission telling them that the party cannot be divided into 2. We are the leadership of the party, and Janet is a dismissed General Secretary. She cannot call any elections at any level of the party, and so they should disregard her moves. And so they have responded that they are going to hold their peace. They won't deal with the party until we come out of our leadership crisis. And I think that I have no objection to it. We are already in the court, and I'm believing that the truth will come out from the court, and the leadership of the party will run the party.
David Apasara is a former flag bearer of the People's National Convention, PNC.
President Akufo-Addo has reiterated government's commitment in expanding educational infrastructure in colleges of education to absorb the free senior high school graduates who will qualify to pursue higher education in various colleges of education across the country. Delivering a speech on behalf of the president at the 60th anniversary celebrations of the SDA College of Education at Koforidua Asokore over the weekend, the Eastern Regional Minister Seth Kwame Champon said government will provide the necessary infrastructure with ancillary academic facilities to ensure the efficient discharge of their core mandates as trainers of teachers. He added that to cement government's commitment, an amount of 70 million Ghana cedis has recently been released through the Ministry of Finance to address some challenges confronting colleges of education.
The vision of the Ministry of Education is to provide equitable, inclusive, and quality education and lifelong learning opportunities to all citizens and our children, and again, harness their full potential to become productive citizens. It is against this backdrop that the government intends to resource colleges of education adequately so as to create an environment that makes them relevant to both national and international development through research and information communication technology driven high quality teaching and learning in all units within the colleges. My government is determined to create equal opportunities for staff of colleges of education to upgrade themselves in order to make these colleges self-sufficient in terms of human resource. The Education Trust Fund will continue to support this cause. Also, the government will provide all the necessary infrastructure and other ancillary academic facilities to ensure efficient discharge of your core mandates as trainers of teachers. There's also the need to improve upon the existing facilities of colleges of education to enable them absorb the increasing number of senior high school graduates churned out every year. Our government is leaving no stone unturned to ensure the smooth running of our colleges of education.
You heard the Eastern Regional Minister Seth Kwame Champong. The acting principal of the SDA College of Education, Dr. Cecilia Fosu-Adame, enumerated a number of projects undertaken by the school to provide financial support to hundreds of needy students of the school, who appealed to government to assist the school with a well-equipped lecture theatre to cater for the large population.
One of the major challenges we are facing as college has to do with lecture theatres and transportation. We urgently appeal to the government. Mr. Regional Minister, please, this one, I have to mention your name, sir. Thank you. We urgently appeal to the government. Government to provide us with adequate and well-equipped lecture theatres, 160-seater bus, and 16-seater minibus to cater for the current student population. Mr. Chairman, my respected audience, the completion of ongoing project administration block tutors flats, the provision of lecture theatres and buses will go a long way to enable Mother Sadako to achieve her vision and mission. We are most grateful to the Almighty God for how far He has brought us.
You heard the acting principal of the SDA College of Education, Dr. Cecilia Fosu-Adame.
We stay with colleges of education in the country, but this time around by strike by its members, staff members, I must say. And City News checks in some of the colleges of education in the Ashanti region show that the nationwide strike by the teaching and non-teaching staff at colleges of education is in full force. Lecturers have abandoned classes while students are seen loitering around. The members of the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana and the Colleges of Education Non-Teaching Staff Association of Ghana insist government has failed to implement the agreed improved conditions of service for their members. Let's go to the Ashanti region now and assess the situation there. Edward Oponmafo is a bureau chief for the Middle Belt. He joins us on the line. Well, Eddie, which of the colleges of education are you in the Ashanti region, and what can you tell us about the strike by staff members there?
As of me at the moment, I'm at the St. Louis College of Education in Kumasi. I've also been to the Wesley College of Education. And with these two institutions, what is very common is the fact that the teachers are not in the classrooms because they have begun their industrial action. And that's not all. The students around are basically, some are just at their halls and engaging in their activities, anything that they wish to do, and nothing academic. And the non-teaching staff too, they are also not working. They are, in fact, most of the offices are closed, and you can barely find some around. Where some people that we found around were the teachers in particular, some of whom spoke to us on condition of anonymity, indicating that indeed they feel they have not been treated fairly because government has always been promising them, and even after they were giving some assurances and all those things were agreed, that government has failed to implement it. But for their leadership, they are saying that this is not the first time they've had several engagements. Some are saying that they have been to meetings with the various stakeholders, but nothing has been done. In fact, earlier, I spoke to the national president, that's Prince Obin, and he indicated to me that indeed it is a nationwide thing and it's cutting across in all the 46 colleges of education. And when we went to the Wesley College of Education, the local chairman over there, Francis Chebedu, he said that it's a general thing and they're all going by it just based on what the leadership is telling them to do.
The basis of our indefinite strike is the refusal of government through the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to vary our conditions of service, which were mutually signed by the parties. Government was duly represented by Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, and CITAG was represented by our leaders. And these parties mutually and voluntarily signed the conditions of service, and to our dismay, government has unilaterally varied these conditions of service. Colleges of education are now tertiary institutions per the Colleges of Education Act 2002, Act 842, and therefore every year government is supposed to sign conditions of service for our members, and the parties met, mutually signed the conditions of service, and to our utter shock and dismay, government unilaterally has varied these conditions. As I speak with you, the 2022 conditions of service have not been signed. At our last meeting, we were informed that Fair Wages and Salaries Commission has written to CITAG that the 2022 conditions of service will be implemented in the year 2023. Members, you know, it is highly impossible. How do we, the salaries that and conditions of service that our members, some of them are going on retirement, some of them are dying.
That's Francis Chebedu. He is the local chairman of the College of Education Teachers Association of Ghana at Wesley College in Kumasi in the Ashanti region. Edward Opomafo is still on the line. We also, Eddie, essentially both academic and non-academic activities have come to a standstill in these institutions you have visited, but you have also been speaking to students who are largely to be affected by this industrial action. What have they been telling you?
So for the students, they're saying that they are various stages of their academic journey. Some feel that if this issue is not addressed as early as possible, it will really affect the kind of training that they're supposed to get in the institution. Some are even worried about the immediate impact. They are saying that with a short-term impact, they are supposed to write their exams in some few weeks' time. And if this happens, that there are some courses, and because it's a professional course, there are certain things that if they do not have the teachers to guide them in whatever they are doing, it could really affect them in diverse ways. And so we want this issue to be addressed amicably so that it does not prolong to the extent that they will be affected adversely.
All right, we are so grateful to you, Edward Opomafo. He is a bureau chief for the Middle Belt, telling us about the strike in the Ashanti region. We can now hear from the students who have been speaking to City News, who want government to, as a matter of urgency, address the concerns of their teachers to ensure smooth academic work.
Yeah, boss, it's not easy. I hope it will affect us because very soon we're about to write the end of semester exam. So I'm just appealing to the government to talk to the lecturers. They give them their wants. It seems they are demanding for a lot of stuff. So I'm just praying like the government will stick to them and talk to them and give them their wants before they come to lectures. So I'm hoping they'll come to lectures maybe Monday going. Yeah, I'm just praying.
So if the lectures are not around, what are some of the things that you feel will be affected? And you personally, how are you going to be affected?
Yeah, it will affect academics because you can't learn by your own. So we are just depending on our tutors. So it will affect our academics. So I wish the government would talk to the tutors to address their concern for them to come to lectures. Yeah.
Be done for them.
I want the government to give them what they want so that they can come to lecture halls.
So what are your plans? How will this affect you within this period?
You see, we're not going to class. Our learning will be different as compared to when the teachers come to classrooms. So it will make our learning down. Let me put it down.
Teach you.
Okay, what I can say is it's affecting our academic performances because look at the first where the lectures are around. So we go to lectures. It helps us, but right now they are on strike. It's affecting us because I'm currently in level 300, and we are having we don't have any professional words. We don't have any. We haven't had any experiences. So what I can say is that the government should, address their issue for them to come and teach us. We are suffering.
So here there's some students of the Wesley College of Education in Kumasi lamenting the impact of the strike by the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana. Away from Kumasi, I want to take a quick dash and come back to the capital here in Accra because scores of Ghanaians have marched up at the premises of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to purchase more foodstuff at cheaper prices. The ministry today has made available plantains and yam tubers while it awaits a tract of load bags of rice for sale. I want to take you live to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. City News' Akusia Otre is there for us. She joins us on the line. Well, Akusia, tell us how different is today's market from what we witnessed last Friday.
All right, thank you, Nee. So last week, indeed, we brought you full coverage of the planting for food and job market by the Ministry of Food and Agriculture here. And last week, we witnessed the selling and buying of just plantains here on the market. But today, it is different because they have brought in tubers of yam in addition to the plantains that was sold last week. Now, what would also be different will be the selling of rice bags as well. As we speak now, the trading of the yam and then the plantains is ongoing, but they are currently waiting for a truck, as you said, from Africa to this particular ministry to sell for the people at cheaper prices. Again, last week I told you that these food items that are being sold here specifically is to mitigate the price of Ghanaians on the current economic hardship and then the increasing prices of foodstuffs on the market. Today they have decided to bring it way cheaper than what they sold it for last week. So last week, if you had a bunch of plantain with about 10 fingers on it going for 10 Ghana cedis, today you would have it at 8 Ghana cedis. So that's what is currently ongoing. A tuber of yam, you could have a tuber of yam for 5 Ghana cedis on this particular market. So that's what is currently ongoing right now.
Well, so are you saying that unlike last week where we saw only the selling of plantain, today we have tubers of yam also on sale? We are also expecting some rice to be delivered on sale. But really, has the process for purchasing changed? Because you made us understand that there has been some slight adjustment to the prices.
Yes, exactly. And last week, we saw that where they were selling the rice was quite different from where they were selling the plantains. So the plantains were arranged at the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. And then the rice was also arranged at the Ifwa Sutherland Park, that's the children's park. Well, today, they are bringing everything on the market here at the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. Today, something different has happened. Now, they have made sure that there isn't a lot of crowds, so they have separated the selling of the yam from the selling of the plantains. So you would have a tent where the plantains are and then a tent where the yams are. And everything is going on smoothly as compared to what we saw last week Friday, where there was a big chaos because people had to troop in speed and then I didn't know where to go to make payments and all of that. But today everything has been scheduled rightly.
Well, let's talk about numbers. Are we seeing more people there today as compared to last week? Are we seeing a lot of government sector workers or also individuals ordinarily coming there?
Yes, last week we saw a lot of people troop in, but today it's a double of that number that we saw last week. Now, we know that this initiative is being piloted, and specifically the ministry wants to begin with staff of local and government service. And so people who work in the ministry enclave, and these were the people that were targeted to be purchasing these items. But it looks as if it's open to everybody because everybody is just trooping in. You even have market women coming in to buy. But one thing that the ministry is avoiding is selling in bulk. And so you will not have someone troop in to buy maybe about more than 20 tubers of yam. That they don't think would help the initiatives that they're trying to put out there. Because this is not supposed to be for market women, even though it's supposed to be for the ordinary Ghanaian. They want every single person to have a share of it. And so, yes, a lot of people trooping in, not just workers of the ministry.
All right, we'll be hearing shortly from some of the customers who have been at the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to purchase some of the food items. But have you been engaging facilitators of this particular exercise today? What have they been telling you?
I spoke to the personal assistant of the Minister of Food and Agriculture, that's the Dr. Osefi Akuto. He has been indicating today's process and how different it is from last week. That's the information I gave you. And he told me that they are awaiting a truck to offload the rice, and why they have decided to bring everything to the ministries and not decided to put these foodstuffs at different centers. That is what we saw last week, having the rice separately at the IFA Sutherland Park and then having the plantains here. Well, they feel that if everything is here, it will be able to be controlled and sold properly. Well, he indicated that last week they weren't really, they didn't really sell much of the rice bags because a lot of their workers weren't there to, control that particular process. And so today, having everything here at the ministries, they have their people on the ground, making sure that this goes on correctly.
And have they been speaking about the criticisms of this particular initiative they're undertaking?
Well, of course, they have been saying that their initiative is going to go well for them because they think that this is not against what is on the market. That is the prices that is being given at the market when you visit maybe Agbogbloshie or Medina market. They have been reiterating that this is just to mitigate the price of Ghanaians. This is to help Ghanaians get stuff at cheaper prices. And so they necessarily are not combating anything other than this. And they are not fighting or they are not up in arms with the market women. So basically, that is they are looking forward to having a good business done with Ghanaians and then also mitigate their pricing.
All right, thank you so much. That's Citi News' Akosi speaking to us from the Food and Agriculture Ministry here in Accra, where some Ghanaians have gathered at the premises to purchase more foodstuff at cheaper price. We can now hear from some of the customers who have been lauding the move.
They want to disgrade the government. I'm from Flower Pot. Two fingers like this. It's 10 cedis.
That's a plantain.
Yes, and I've got all this for 10 cedis. I've got all this for 10 cedis, so it's not good.
This looks like about 20 fingers.
Only 2 fingers is 5 cedis at my place there. So now they should put this thing at other places, not only here.
Okay. So you think that this is relatively cheaper than
only I have to drive here. That is the problem. They have to put it, this is 10 cedis. I buy 2 of these fingers for 5 cedis at my area there. Okay. And even they are too small.
So you are advising that everybody should come around and buy?
Yes, but they should put other places. They should put it at other places. Okay. You see, you can't drive all the way from Sakuman or Swinters Road and come here to buy. Put some at other vantage point nearby. Right. You get me?
Well, those were some customers lauding government cheap prices at the Food and Agriculture Ministry, asking that market should be set up at the various centers within the capital here in Accra. But a reminder that this is still the Citi Prime News here on 97.3 Citi FM, live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. Also live across the country and all around the world. We are live on citinewsroom.com. My name is Larte here with Eno Safo. Still to come, we take you to the Volta region where tidal wave victims at Vuvome in the Anloga district have taken shelter in temporary structures a year after that incident. Do stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Yes, Afiaso and Panda Entertainment presents Toda Concert, the final laps. Yes, it's an end-of-year gospel Thanksgiving concert at the Perez Dome Chapel on 25th November. Gates open 5:30 p.m. prompt. So come along and join in an atmosphere of praise and absolute thanksgiving, along with MOG Music, Celestine Donko, Perez Music, Niela, Theo Praise, Becky Boni, Bright Gold Mensa, Neelante Mills, and Campso. Toda Concert is proudly sponsored by Brico Properties, High Street Outdoor Advertising, Bell Aqua, Jay's Glory Ventures, Cheesy Pizza, and Cozy Valley Resort Ebri. Tickets are selling for a cool 50 Ghana cedi for single and 90 Ghana cedis for double at Perez Dome Bookshop and Airport Shell. Call 0248 434 475 for ticket reservations and or delivery. Dial *713*33*52# to purchase tickets for yourself and family. Media partners: Citi TV and Radio, Plus FM, MX24, and Blogger Abaka. Total concert, the final laps, absolute Thanksgiving.
OneXBet. Easy betting, easy winnings. OneXBet, the most reliable service to make deposits easily with high odds and numerous bonuses on the spot. Register now at onexbet.com.gh. Use promo code BESTODDSGH to get 300% bonus up to 3,445 Ghana cedis on your first deposit. Easy to use, easy to have a chance to win. OneXBet, reliable bookmaker. Gambling can be addictive. Bet responsibly. Not for person under 18 years. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Grateful that you stayed. Now, tidal wave victims in Vuvome in the Anloga district of the Volta region have taken shelter in temporary structures a year on. According to the residents, they had no option than to relocate to higher grounds as the waves make forceful advances into their community. Vuvome was one of the affected coastal communities that had its residents displaced in November 2021. Speaking to City News, the assembly member for the Atiteti electoral area, Raphael Agbanavo, noted that the residents would have no place to go if the government does not intervene. There is more in the following report by City News' Fred Duho.
The environmental and climate crisis, closely related to global inequalities and unsustainable economic systems, is reaching dangerous tipping points. The richest individuals, corporations and countries in the world are responsible for the majority of carbon dioxide emissions and pollution, while vulnerable groups are most affected by the worst consequences of climate change and environmental destruction, according to the United Nations Research Institute for Social Development. In November 2021, over 3,000 residents in coastal communities including Keta, Salakope and Fuveme were rendered homeless by high-rise sea levels. This transformed a once vibrant island community into remnants of war zone. Dominic Bright is the manager of Meet Me There Home Lodge, an eco-friendly hospitality facility that prides itself as Climate Adaptation Lodge, which experienced firsthand the consequences of the climate change.
Water has continued to rise. It's flooded the 2 rooms. It's also flooded the main part of our restaurant. And has caused us to have to close down the lodge for this week, which has obviously impacted our income quite severely.
According to the United Nations Research Institute for Social Development's 2022 Crisis of Inequality flagship report, 80% of the people who live in low elevation coastal zones are most vulnerable to sea level rise from climate change. These are located in developing countries, of which Ghana is part of. The perennial tidal wave issues caused by climate change have taken a toll on many livelihoods in southern parts of the Volta region in Ghana. Residents in Fuveme recount at least 9 dead persons in the disaster. Almost a year after, I have come to assess how they are coping with the situation. The village has now abandoned its second settlement to a higher ground, with residents living in temporary structures. The Fuveme Basic School infrastructure that guaranteed the rights to education of about 150 pupils collapsed. The government, through the local assembly, has erected a new edifice that is the only accessible basic need in the community outside water. Freeman has lived on this island for over 30 years. He has witnessed how fast the sea has caught up with them anytime they relocate to a higher ground.
We used to live some miles away, but that area has submerged due to the tidal waves. This current place was ravaged by climate change at dawn when everyone was asleep. Our current location will be the third. We don't know what to do in case of another tidal wave disaster.
This building that used to be high above the human height has now been brought down beneath the sand and totally buried, and it's gotten to my knee level. Hitherto, this would have been a place of abode for a number of families and households who used to live here and have that family life. Fishing is the main occupation on this island. Innocent children have seen the troubles caused to their homes by the ocean, but they can't resist its cooling arms when the temperature rises to absurd levels due to global warming. The assembly member for the area, Ralph Lagbanavo, speaks on behalf of the people during policy formulation and implementation meetings.
You can go around the community, comb it, you will see that people are living in temporary structures. Why temporary structures? Because we are afraid of putting in any decent accommodation where the sea will come for it again. And if you got the money that will be used into providing the decent accommodation is not forthcoming because we get our money from the sea. And here we are. So far as Tada have destroyed the whole environment or the whole community, it is very difficult for us to even go to the sea and get what we need.
He called for urgent steps to be taken against climate change.
This is the last land available for people to stay on. So should the unexpected happen again, where people will be staying, I cannot tell.
Papstete is a local migrant who relocated about 80 kilometers to create jobs for the youth in this community.
Strong tidal waves, that's really include the whole community. That's really affected other communities along the coastline, and it's really affected my business as well. So where we are now, as I'm speaking now, this is a second phase of Pasbish Camp. First one was in the sea now.
He has not been spared by the rising tide. Paps had a dream to turn the beach into a haven of leisure for exhausted minds who want to flee the fumes and pollutions in the city. He has a basket positioned to collect plastics, though very little is generated in his operations. He has a solar installation to serve his immediate power needs. He is worried about the waste generated by factories and pollution in the cities, some 200 kilometers to the village shores. The combination of multiple crises and the impact of COVID-19 on poverty, inequality and achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals have increased the urgency for political action. The only time the people of Uveme and its adjoining communities get the opportunity to be represented and their voices heard is when the President of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, speaks on global platforms such as the COP27 held in Egypt.
Climate change is a global emergency, and Ghana calls on all parties to act with equity and a sense of responsibility.
Rather than protect the lagoon and its ecology, some residents naively cut the mangroves as fuel for domestic use. This practice is depleting the vegetation cover that could save them when the sea ravages. My name is Fred Duho reporting for City News.
Star Navigation, a flight science company that bridges the gap between flight experience and flight safety, is hopeful that the aviation industry in Ghana will adopt its new technology called the In-Flight Safety Monitoring System. The system has sensing capabilities that can monitor every system on board the aircraft to avoid flight crashes, thereby enhancing aviation safety while reducing costs for the operator. Speaking to City News ahead of its upcoming West Africa Aviation Prevention and Airline Performance Optimization Conference tomorrow, the Senior Director of Investor Relations at Star Navigation, Hamid Gill, says the system is necessary to ensure the safety of passengers.
You know, sometimes when you look in an aircraft, you see all the gadgets that look so good. It looks like the aircraft's got everything, but it doesn't. But our system is independent from the pilots. It's running in the background, and it's great for the ground personnel. So from power on of the aircraft, throughout the whole flight to power off, we know what's going on with the plane. If an alert gets noticed during the flight, let's say the left engine's overheating up, you know, is there something wrong with the hydraulics, you are notified immediately on the ground. Now the ground is communicating with the pilot through satellite phone saying that, you know, this is the issue. Do you need an emergency landing? Or can it be still tolerated till it gets to the destination? So those are a couple of things that are very, very unique that what the system can do. You know, also that you look at the Air France 447. Even that had an incident, and it took them 2.5 years to investigate the system, right? Like I said, our system's proactive, not reactive. They'll give you instant what's going on with the aircraft throughout the whole flight. So we're a virtual window into the aircraft.
You heard the Senior Director of Investor Relations at Star Navigation, Hamid Gill.
And that's it for today's edition of the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka in Accra. Many thanks indeed for your company. My name is Larte, and I was here with
Safo.
Michael Obodo is next with the afternoon's edition of the City Business News. Have a good afternoon.
City 97.3. More variety. Citi 97.3. Accra. Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News.